just like a solar flare, and cause ionospheric absorption right down to the VLF frequencies, very low frequencies. And Dr. Kaku, I've been searching for what in the world could be disturbing our ionosphere to the point that it ruins radio communications. And, of course, we always look to the sun, but lo and behold, here they're telling us it may be something like the collision of black holes or what?
That's right. These are gamma-ray bursters, which may be generated by what are called hypernovas. Hypernovas are gigantic, supermassive, gigantic explosions in space that lead to the formation of a black hole. And there is speculation that perhaps on the other side of the black hole there's a white hole.
Oh,
and
really?
If the matter that falls out of the other side, you have a white hole that spews out energy. Huh. And there's even a theory that says that the white hole is actually a Big Bang.
Really?
That is, that we may be, and this is just a theory, we may be witnessing the creation of a baby universe, a baby Big Bang taking place, where our universe is actually fissioning, and the matter being sucked into the hypernova blows out the other end and creates a white hole, which excretes enormous amounts of energy. And, of course, that looks very much like a Big Bang, doesn't it? A tremendous amount of matter and energy spewing out of a single point.
Well, it does. And, Professor, we're short-lived beings. And in my life now, in modern days, it seems 2 or now 3 times, Professor, I've heard these stories about these sudden monstrous explosions detected, each one larger than the last one, and they compare them to the original Big Bang in strength in some way. And it's amazing, these things. What is this, Professor? Ongoing creation?
Possibly. We astronomers, the physicists, used to think that the dinosaurs were wiped out 65 million years ago by a nearby supernova that took place maybe 20, 30 light years from the Earth. That would be enough to scorch the Earth with an electromagnetic pulse. It would fry the ionosphere, boil the oceans, and it would be sufficient to wipe out the dinosaurs. However, we've looked, and of course, we have found the crater in Mexico that is the most likely candidate for the extinction-causing event. However, these gamma-ray bursters are more powerful than hypernovas. And so it's conceivable that if a nearby hypernova were to blow up and we're right in its path, then it could definitely cause atmospheric disturbances. A close one, like I said, would actually burn off our atmosphere.
So we would just sort of be incinerated instantly.
We would be fried, that's right. However, most of the gamma-ray bursters are in other galaxies, millions to billions of light years away, fortunately. However, their power is absolutely staggering, second only to the Big Bang itself. And we do believe that forming out of this is a black hole. And like I mentioned, there is a possibility that as matter gets sucked into the black hole, it has to go someplace, and it could blow out the other end, creating what is called a baby universe. And that is also, in part, the subject of my new book that I have coming out this week, In Parallel Worlds.
Oh, this week?
This week it's coming out, right. We physicists are speculating on what kind of conditions would it take to create another universe.
Yes, and it's called Parallel Worlds, A Journey Through Creation, Higher Dimensions, and the Future of the Cosmos.
That's right. And so we believe that, perhaps in the future we'll be able to send probes in the distant future to some of these things to really analyze in detail the formation of hypernovas. Satellites today, of course, can photograph scores of hypernovas every day, but some of the big ones are truly staggering in their power. And with the Hubble Space Telescope, for example, we've been able to see black holes eating lunch, gobbling up whole star systems for lunch.
Yes.
They just gobble up stars and barely burp. That's how massive some of these black holes are.
Not planets, mind you. Remember, planets, folks, are like what we're on, that go around, suns, like our sun. And and the professor's talking about entire systems, suns with presumably planets, and all the rest of it just instantly sucked into a hole.
And in my book, I also profile the fact that we physicists are now spending millions of taxpayers' money searching for evidence for these parallel universes. This is a rather new development just within the last few years. The idea of parallel universes is now a fairly well-established concept in the theoretical physics community. And as a consequence, now several experiments are being conducted right now to search for physical evidence from a parallel universe.
Well, you know, Professor, I know you'll toss your cookies but when I say this, but the concept of parallel universes was pretty well established by the metaphysical community long ago. And, of course, you know, I understand that what I'm talking about is not science exactly, but, in fact, people in metaphysics have been talking about something that approximates a parallel universe for a long time now, and now all of a sudden people like yourself are coming along and saying, yeah, in fact, it's science.
That's right. We're catching up in some sense. If you read the psychic literature going back to 1900, especially in England, you realize the Psychical Society there included physicists who would later win the Nobel Prize.
Really?
So physicists at the turn of the century, including Crookes of the Crookes tube, which is now called a cathode ray tube, which is found in your TV set, was very much interested in psychical phenomena around 1900. But, of course, the experimental data was lacking 100 years ago. Now we have satellites. We have gravity wave detectors. We have laser detectors. In the last 5 years, a real battery of scientific instruments are gradually coming online, which may once and for all establish the identity of a parallel universe. For example, gravity should go between parallel universes. We cannot jump into a parallel universe unless we have a looking glass. But gravity freely goes between universes. And as a consequence, by looking at tiny little deformations in Newton's laws of gravity, we should be able to detect the presence of a hovering nearby universe. So think of two parallel sheets of paper. On each parallel sheet of paper, you have ants walking and living and doing their chores, oblivious of the presence of the other. Mm-hmm. However, each ant has gravity. And as a consequence, if you get close to an ant in the other parallel universe, you can sense its gravitational pull. This means there should be shadow matter, a shadow universe, which should be detected by our instruments. Now, there are some astronomers who actually believe that this is the explanation for dark matter. Dark matter, it makes up most of the matter of the universe. It's invisible. It surrounds the Milky Way galaxy.
We have some clicking going on here of some sort. So dark matter, is dark matter that which is in between universes?
It could be matter in the other parallel universe.
Altogether in the other universe.
That's right. We realize now that surrounding our own galaxy, there is a sphere that weighs 10 times more than our own galaxy, which holds our galaxy together, by the way. It's very well established now that our galaxy should have flown apart. It should have been blown apart billions of years ago because it spins too fast. But what holds our own Milky Way galaxy together is a sphere of dark matter which surrounds it. But every time we try to photograph it, we come up with nothing. The Hubble Space Telescope has given maps of where dark matter should be, but there's nothing there.
Nothing
it's
there.
Invisible.
Should dark matter, in what manner would it be visible?
It bends light, and so the Hubble Space Telescope, by looking at the bending of light, like light going through glass, for example, has given us beautiful maps of dark matter throughout the universe, but there's nothing there. We look, and it's invisible. So there's an invisible matter that pervades the universe, which has gravity. And there are two theories about this. One theory is that it's shadow matter. It's matter from this parallel universe that's very close to our universe, and it has gravity.
So it has mass. It has real mass in another universe.
That's right.
And gravity that mass is being exhibited as measured gravity.
That's right. That's exactly it. Gravity goes between universes, but light does not.
Gotcha.
Light and matter are stuck on each sheet of paper.
Uh-huh.
But gravity freely goes between these universes because gravity is the warping of space. And therefore, by looking for invisible matter, we should see the outlines of objects in a shadow world.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hubble Space Telescope has given us beautiful, gorgeous maps of dark matter. And so one theory is that dark matter is the presence of shadow matter, dark matter existing just above us.
Shadow matter. So, in other words, this would be something you could conceivably, theoretically, I guess I had to say, you could theoretically see it, only we haven't yet.
That's right. The second theory is that this new type of matter, dark matter, is something made of something called sparticles, superparticles, which are higher vibrations of the superstring. So we could be listening to a new higher octave. We are the lowest octave. Neutrons and protons would be the lowest octave of the superstring. The next octave would be superparticles or sparticles. They would be invisible. And the second theory, also coming out of superstring theory, says that perhaps they're nothing but higher vibrations within our own universe.
Oh, God, I can't stop myself. Professor, I've got to stop you for a second for, again, something that will probably cause you to toss your cookies. But on this program, we've had these discussions involving what people have chosen to call shadow people. Just bear with me here. Here's the theory. These so-called shadow people are beings or something that we imagine to be perhaps from another universe. They are seen only very occasionally, sort of in the periphery of your vision. Just a very fleeting glimpse of these people. Now, get this, Professor. A lot of the people who claim to have seen these beings have been spending a lot of time in front of a computer and a computer screen. And as you know, a computer screen is refreshing at a certain rate. It's got a vibration to it, in a sense. The refresh rate is a vibration. And people theorize that their brains are somehow being, what's the right word, reset in some manner by this refresh rate, by spending hours and hours and hours and hours staring at a computer screen, and then finally being in a situation where you see something that you ought not see, that some people in the metaphysical community choose to call shadow people. And it sure sounds a little like that shadow universe you're describing.
Well, in my book, Parallel Worlds, I quote from H.G. Wells' famous novel, The Invisible Man. And in that original novel, a medical student discovers the secret of the fourth dimension. So if you have two parallel sheets of paper separated by the fourth dimension, and one person is hovering higher above your universe, he is invisible.
Right.
However, he can look down on your universe.
That's right.
The invisible man looks down from his sheet of paper onto yours, but light travels beneath him, so anyone in the lower sheet of paper sees nothing, sees something that's invisible. So that's how H.G. Wells explained invisibility in the original novel of The Invisible Man by the Fourth Dimension. Now, today we physicists are taking this idea very seriously. Like I said before, millions of dollars are being spent, taxpayers' money, grant money from the government, searching for disturbances, slight disturbances.
That would be the proof that you're hunting for, that there is that mass